Hi, welcome to DB Automotive. My name is Brian James and this channel is dedicated to the restoration and rebuilding of Lotus style Clubman cars. But not just that, we also have a wide range of projects waiting, so there will also be Bedford vans and other things, but we'll get onto that a little bit later. First up, we have a big announcement, big news. Okay, so at the beginning of next year, the Fraser 5000 is on again. Now, for you that don't know about the Fraser 5000, it is a car run. It's a tour of New Zealand, 5,000 kilometres, North Island, South Island, put on by the Fraser Club. Now, the Fraser Club, if you don't know it, is the Fraser style of Clubman cars. These are Chevrons, you have Frasers, there are also McGregors, Leaches, there's a wide range of them that are all part of the club. There's no discrimination or snobbery about it. And so, 5,000 Ks, tour of New Zealand. Hell yes, I'm excited. This is going to be so cool. So, it's put a bit of a spur into my step to get my one up and running. Cool. I sort of missed out. I did it last time and I got halfway through it and I had to break off because the company I'd been working for, they shut up their doors and I had to go back up and collect all my toolboxes and things. So I really want to do this one and I really want to finish it. Right, now let's get on to what happened over the past couple of weeks. Now, I didn't post a video last week. I do apologise for that, but I was waiting for stuff. So you can buy stuff in New Zealand and it's going to be couriered to your door the next day. It's going to be expensive. We're on the bottom of the world, things take some time. You can go onto the internet, you can buy stuff from around the world, but it's going to take time to get to your front door. I'm in the second boat. I don't have a lot of money to play with, so I buy it from overseas and I wait. That's where we were last week. I was waiting. It didn't stop me doing little things around the car, but the main thing I got in was, so for last week, I got in the gaiters, the rubber boots for my steering rack. Now my steering rack is a Vauxhall Viva Magnum. So I think it's a 1972 Magnum rack, which is slightly different from the Viva rack. And as you can imagine, a car from 1972 doesn't have a lot of options. I can't go down to the local auto parts store and just buy these items. So I found them online and here we have them. All done in, fitted, fit perfectly. And they are the proper boot for that rack. Now I could buy aftermarket boots, but it just doesn't quite fit. They're big, they're sloppy, they look horrible. I want the proper thing for the proper rack. And the other thing I did over the week was the lower ball joints for the independent rear end, the S13 independent rear end that is sitting in the back of the car. So if you look to one of my earlier videos, I show you how to install ball joints at home. It's just with a socket and a G-clamp. That's how we put those ones in. So I didn't have to worry too much. They went in, they've been done up, so now the back end is basically all fitted together. Now I can get away with dummy fitting the brakes. I've fitted the handbrake, made sure that it works. So as I've gotten things together, now I can start checking them and making sure things are working. They work properly. I'll take you for a walk around in a second, but I've also fitted some of the aluminium, the roll cage, which you can see up the back. And yes, we'll go for a walk now, and we can just take a quick walk around. You're going to notice some books. I'll get onto them in a second. Right, you've officially been grabbed. Okay, so here are the rubber boots for my steering rack. Now, Okay, I've been a little bit lazy and it's not so great there. But the internals are fresh. So are the boots. So are the steering rod ends, which we've seen, and the ball joints, top and bottom. Now, you'll notice that we've got thread poking through, and we'll get onto that in a second. You would have seen that from my last video when I was talking about that. Okay, we can't really see that. The ball joints are together. We've test fitted the brakes. The brakes are sitting on there at the moment. They spin freely. Handbrakes on. They don't spin. Okay, so that works. Okay, so as you can see, I've test fitted the aluminium tub. That's basically going to be my boot. Once the tawny cover's on, you're not going to be able to see what's in there, so I can put camping gear, tools, everything I need can go into the back there. The fuel tank isn't exactly a big fuel tank, so I can take a spare 2 5-litre container with me. Okay, there's our roll cage. I prefer this style of cage because I very rarely take passengers. Now, let's put you back up onto the tripod. So what's going to be happening in the next week or two? Rightio. You'll notice that I mentioned something about the threads. I'm going to be measuring up a lot of these old bolts because legally they are illegal because they don't have a couple of threads poking through the end of the nut. Now that is a requirement by New Zealand law. And so I'm going to go through, measure them up, get the proper nuts and bolts, Nylox, grade 8s or 5.5 if they are imperial. The next thing I'll be doing and looking at is the braking system. This crusty piece of shit is the old braking system. Really, this is what stops you from crashing, and it's shit. Okay, so we're going to be replacing it. No ifs, no buts. All new line, new ends, new fittings, everything going to be brand new. On top of that, I will be rekitting the S13 brakes, and I believe the front brakes are AE86. So they're going to be all reconditioned. So my braking system is going to be perfect. I do like to stop. Part of going fast is being able to stop and not crash. Or use the person in front of you to crash. Right, so what I want to get on to just briefly is some of you may be wondering where I get this information from for my braking system. How do I know it's safe? Okay, other than spending 35 years building cars and it being my hobby, how would I know it's safe if this is the first thing I've ever done? Well, in New Zealand, we have what we call the Bible. So it's a Code of Construction manual. So the earlier ones were put out by the New Zealand Hot Rod Association, and these cover cars built before 1990 and up to 2010. But at 1990, a new Code of Construction came in and you have to follow these rules. This car was built in 1990, November 1990, so it's got to follow the new rules. They're not that hard. For this particular rule book, that is my braking system. 1 page, well, 2 pages. Now, if you have a more modern car, this is the book you have to follow now. It's a lot more. So it's the New Zealand Hobby Car Technical Manual. This was put out by the Low Volume Vehicle Technical Association. And these are the people that certify your car to tell you that it's safe. There is the braking system that you have to follow. It's 23 pages. Well, actually double-sided, so yeah, 23. Now normally, most of the time, I will follow the more modern code because these are set to keep you safe. Okay, I've got an older car, I don't have to follow it, but I do. That's why I have the more modern book. As you saw, the old code has 2 pages. That has, 23. With the older code, for an example, I don't have to run a high stop light. Okay, the new code, you've got to run a high stop light. Why wouldn't you? As you can see, and look, I'll show you how easy it is. Okay, this is dead simple, you've got to do it. Rightio. So as we come around here, you can see that running a high stop light on that bar is going to be interesting. So, I've made this thing. It can clamp to the bar. I'll make a little flat unit to clamp onto here, and I'll just mount the high stop light up off that and run the wires down. I will not drill into the bar and run them through the bar. I'll just zip tie them down there and they will be spliced into the braking wiring loom. It's that simple. So, most of the time I will follow the new book. It really does set out things. Now, you may think, oh well, I don't need to do it. I'm just going to drive the car anyway. Okay, so in New Zealand, you work with the low volume certification system, the LVVTA. With them, you'll have a list of people who you can call that once you're finished building your car, they will check your car over. They will offer advice on what you need to do before it gets legal. You may have missed something. A lot of people do. It's nothing to be ashamed of. When your car passes, you then get a warrant of fitness, and once it's warrant of fitness, you can then get a registration. Without those, you're in for massive fines on the New Zealand roads, and you are also not insured. New Zealand's, I think, one of the few countries where you can drive a car on the road legally without insurance. I know it's a little bit strange, but that's the way the system is. But you can't legally drive a car on the road without a registration and without a warrant of fitness. Now, most people will do it just because that's the proper thing to do. If not, and you get caught running your car, like all my cars are rego on hold, registration on hold, so all they need is a warrant of fitness. I don't have to go through the certification process as such. If I get caught driving my car on the road while its registration is on hold, it's 30 demerit points. You only get 100 demerit points and then you lose your license. Lose your license and violate that enough times, you end up in jail. So it's well worth following the law. Okay. So next week, I wish to have all my stuff bolted up with all new bolts coming into it. And I'm going to start looking into getting all my brake line. Cool. So, Fraser 5000, bolts, brakes. The Fraser 5000. If you are in New Zealand and you do have one of these cars, go to the Fraser Facebook site, look up Fraser Cars on Facebook, take a look at the Fraser 5000, and if it's coming through your area, by all means, please join. What a hoot! You get to have a day driving with a whole heap of these cars. If you have the ability, by all means, come and do the full 5000. Believe me, it is fun. You will love it. I did. I only did 2,500, so I still have yet to complete it, but we want to change that. So hey guys, if you like what you see, hit like and subscribe. And it's not just, I don't just do these cars, okay? It's DB Automotive now. Other vehicles I will be doing after I do this car. There's a CF Bedford van that needs to be done at some stage. I've got another one of the Clubman style cars in the back. I've got a certain plan for that. And there's something really big coming. Hopefully it's coming soon. And when I say big, it's big. Really big. So, like, subscribe, and you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.